And today's episode of the Riderflex podcast is sponsored by our friends at Ready List Sports. Really love what Chad Freehoff, the CEO, and his team are doing over there. It's an interactive playbook, learning and testing technology designed to drive engagement, comprehension, and safety. If you're a football fan of any age, youth, high school, college, pro, we encourage you to check them out at readylistsports.com. And on today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, Mr. and Mrs. Job Candidate, I'm talking to you. Assume the person interviewing you has skimmed your resume and LinkedIn profile. I know that's disappointing to hear because you worked really hard on it. You got lots of great information in there. The reality is most interviewers, unfortunately, will only glance at your resume. Rarely will they read it word for word, line by line item. It doesn't happen most of the time. So this episode encourages you to plan for that, prepare for that, and do a couple of things, okay? So you walk into the job interview, you've already assumed, hey, Mary probably skimmed my resume, so you're ready, you're prepared. This is what you do. Number one, when the conversation starts, Mary, the interviewer, is likely to say, so Johnny, tell me about yourself. Or something like that. Most interviewers will open up with some sort of random comment like that. That is the moment where you are prepared to give a verbal summary of your resume from 30,000 feet. Practice that. I really want to encourage all of the listeners for this episode. Ask yourself, can you deliver a 3 to 4 minute verbal overview of your resume? If you were asked to do that, could you do that? Prepare for that. And when the interviewer says, so Johnny, tell me about yourself, boom, you deliver right there a nice verbal overview of your resume. Okay, that's your chance to do that. Don't get into any hardcore accomplishments or specifics yet. Not yet. I'm going to go there in just a second, but just a nice overview verbally of your resume and career. Practice that speech, deliver it in the beginning when they open up with that question that's pretty standard. Tell me about yourself. Okay, that's my first tip for you. Now, towards the back end of the interview, most interviewers will say something like, so Johnny, is there anything else you want to share with us today? Or something like that. That is the moment where you tie in specific accomplishments that relate to the job you're interviewing for, and you're convincing them why you are the candidate for the job. That's where you're really driving home major accomplishments, okay? Not all of them, but the highlights. Practice it, be prepared for it, be able to deliver that verbally. Understand that they may not have seen those major accomplishments on your resume because remember, they skimmed it. So again, one more time, at the end, the interviewer is likely to say, so Johnny, is there anything else you want to share with us? Now, they might skip that and say, so Johnny, I think I have what I need here. Do you have any questions for me? Boom, that's your moment. Same thing. Before you start asking questions, deliver your closing statements and mention those major accomplishments that tie to the job. Okay? And there is your Riderflex tip of the day. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.